right now, but you knew of the fighter?
Of course, why not? Why not?
So, what is more important, legacy or?
It's just about like figuring your opponent out, just any little thing, like just how he react off of stuff, like any his movement, like his feedback.
Lamont Roach, who have been brought side by side and face to face with each other. While every boxing fan thinks the difference between both athletes is crazy, it surely isn't as crazy as you think. You, like other boxing fans, may just be wrong about Lamont Roach. Interestingly, they both have an opponent in common, and both put up amazing performances against him to secure world titles. Fine, Gervonta Davis is the superstar and the more famous fighter, but Lamont Roach is no slouch either.
I know you're at 130, right? But if the right fight presented itself, would you consider maybe a big fight at 35 if the money was right?
Most definitely, if the money was right.
Gervonta Davis, with a record of 30-0, dominated his last opponent, Frank Martin, in June. He used his speed and power to overwhelm Martin in the middle rounds before delivering a devastating knockout. Although Roach isn't just another Frank Martin, compounding Roach's difficulties is the fact that he has yet to show knockout potential in the lower weight classes. Lamont Roach has bounced back with 6 consecutive wins since his only career loss, a decision defeat to Jamal Herring in 2019. His most notable victory came last November when he edged out Hector Garcia by split decision to claim a world title. Interestingly, Garcia was previously stopped by Gervonta Davis in the 9th round in January 2023 at lightweight.
There's a championship on the line because those belts are freeing up.
Yeah, they are.
Definitely, for sure. I'm not a super small 130 pounder.
Yeah.
130.
About 10 months before losing to Roach. While Roach has shown noticeable improvement, it's difficult to imagine him posing a significant threat to Davis. However, the fight is feasible and could take place either in Davis's hometown of Baltimore or, more likely, in Washington, D.C., where Davis headlined for his fight against Hector Garcia. Despite Roach being from D.C., the bout is expected to be a box office success. The main concerns with this matchup stem from Lamont Roach's lack of recognition, his smaller size, and his unproven knockout power. Moving up in weight is already a tough challenge for any fighter, but Roach faces an even greater hurdle against one of the hardest punchers in the lightweight division. However, the World Boxing Association has granted Lamont Roach Jr. permission to move up to 135 pounds and challenge Gervonta "Tank" Davis on the 14th of December. Davis has become one of boxing's biggest stars, known for his exceptional talent, ring intelligence, and fight-altering power. Due to his dominance, the WBA permits Davis to handpick opponents from the super featherweight division to defend his lightweight title.
I have to go to Tank.
What does he need to do to make this competitive?
Don't trade with him. You gotta box. Box, move, time, but it's difficult when you fight Tank.
This practice is seen as unfair to the 135 pounds contenders, as it allows Davis to extend his reign by selectively facing weaker opponents from a lower weight class, undermining the competitive integrity of the sport. When multiple outlets reported the news of the Davis-Roach clash, it sparked quite a negative response from boxing fans around the world. They wanted to see Davis go beyond the second tier and test his talent against other top names at 135. Roach's legitimacy as a fighter and challenger to Davis is still in question. A fan commented on X, stating they wouldn't watch the fight, and Gervonta had something to say back. "With that being said, now shut the hell up and get back to what you were doing," responded Gervonta Davis. But to the surprise of this fan, Lamont Roach may have so much more to offer. Roach was a decorated amateur, winning gold medals at the National Golden Gloves and USA Boxing Youth National Championships in 2013. He made his professional debut the following year, shortly after signing with Golden Boy Promotions while studying at the University of Maryland. He went undefeated in his first 20 fights, collecting 3 minor belts before he unsuccessfully challenged Jamal Herring for his WBO super featherweight title in 2019. One very good way to compare him with Tank is to find out how he fared against the opponent they both share in common, Hector Garcia. Roach outpointed Hector Luis Garcia by split decision to take the WBA super featherweight title from the Dominican Southpaw at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino's Michelob Ultra Arena. Roach hurt Garcia in the 11th round, was credited with a questionable knockdown in the 12th round, and won their competitive championship clash on the scorecards of judges Max DeLuca and Robert Hoy in Showtime pay-per-views opener on the David Benavidez-Demetrius Andrade undercard. Judge Tim Cheatham scored their fight for Garcia, 114-113. Their fight would have been declared a split draw if not for the knockdown referee Tony Weeks credited Roach with scoring just after the halfway point of the 12th round. Roach appeared to send Garcia to the canvas by hitting him on the back of his head. Roach, who was the mandatory challenger for Rivera's title, recorded the biggest victory of his career after losing his first title fight 4 years ago. The 28-year-old Upper Marlboro, Maryland resident was beaten by Jamal Herring, then the World Boxing Organization junior lightweight champion.
Gervonta Davis. This crowd landing some very good power punches.
But at the same time,
Garcia landed that.
In a 12-rounder that was held in November 2019 at Chukchansi Park in Fresno, California. Garcia lost a second straight fight. The 32-year-old former champion fought for the first time since Gervonta Davis stopped him early in the 9th round of their fight for Davis's WBA lightweight title on January 7th at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. After taking 2 left hands from Garcia, Roach taunted the former champion and scored the aforementioned debatable knockdown just after the halfway point of the 12th round.
He lands that shot. There's that left hand from Garcia.
obviously was putting
Garcia indicated to referee Tony Weeks that he had been hit behind his head. Once he quickly reached his feet, Gervonta "Tank" Davis rocked Hector Luis Garcia with a left hand in the closing moments of round 8, prompting the underdog to retire on his stool ahead of the 9th round Saturday in Washington, D.C. Garcia absorbed a flurry of power shots on unsteady legs and later said, "I didn't know where I was when he hit me with that shot. My head still hurts. I couldn't see, but my vision is back."
That's the punch Avalar knocked him down, Garcia down.
With the TKO, Davis kept intact a planned April 15th super fight against Ryan Garcia in Las Vegas, though that matchup wasn't yet official. Davis was ahead 79-73, 79-73, and 78-74 at the time of the stoppage. "I was trying to beat him mentally," said Davis, 28. "I was trying to trick him with my hands and my eyes and things like that because he's a tough fighter. I had to bait him. God willing, I'm ready for the fight with Ryan Garcia. It's scheduled for April. He's been training."
his punches.
Davis. A left hand that got in and
Fighter, so
He's been talking. Davis, who is typically a slow starter, didn't land many clean punches during the first 3 rounds. As Garcia dictated the pace with his southpaw jab, Davis finally found his rhythm in round 4. The star boxer connected with a stinging counter right hand and a couple of lefts that caught Garcia's attention in a fast-paced round. Garcia, a 130 pounds title holder who moved up to 135 for a career-high payday, was all too willing to stand in the pocket and trade with the bigger, stronger puncher. Davis, from nearby Baltimore,
I noticed.
Tonight's main event. Jabs with the right hook, and that was a nice one going at it. And Davis says, Davis hurt Garcia. Able to go over the top with that.
packed the Capital One Arena with more than 19,000 fans. He began to potshot Garcia in round 5 with lead left hands. Davis followed up with powerful right hands and started to truly sit down on those shots toward the end of round 6 in round 8. Davis was in control when the fight was paused by the referee due to a disturbance in the crowd at ringside. It was a highly unusual call from the official, halting the action 58 seconds into the round as Davis stopped fighting due to the commotion. The action resumed after nearly a minute.
Filled out, everything like that. So I definitely would jump up to 35 and crush him on his dreams. Okay.
And when it did, Davis finally found the fight-ending punch he was looking for. A straight left hand placed Garcia, 31, on wobbly legs. Davis capitalized with a series of blistering rights and lefts, leading Garcia to retire on his stool moments later. There was a fight outside the ring, And then when the fight resumed, that's when I landed a really good punch against him. It made his vision blurry, Davis recalled. Garcia later commented, "I was seeing double. I was there physically, defending myself, but when I looked at him, all I could see was a blur. I remember watching the fight again on TV and saw myself going to the wrong corner, Gervont's corner, and the referee turned me around like, nope, this isn't your corner. You've got to go that way." That's when I realized I was really messed up. And then the rest is history, how the fight got stopped and everything.
Because with you being in the DMV and you betting on yourself, if you show that value as not just in the ring, but as an attraction, you might, maybe you might get a call from Tank or something.
Davis Roach fight. Boxing fans are eager for a high-stakes matchup, but it looks like we may have to settle for Lamont Roach instead. It's not the main course we were hoping for, but given the circumstances, it shouldn't leave a bad taste in our mouths. It's certainly better than going hungry. It's fair for fans to be disappointed, but it's unfair to blame Davis this time.
Yeah, Tank's my guy too, man. I appreciate him shouting me out after the win. And what's crazy? After he beat Hector,
As one of the biggest stars in boxing, Davis has continued to showcase his talent, captivating fans with his ring IQ and fight-changing power. A video of Davis's 8th-round win over Frank Martin on June 15th, posted by Premier Boxing Champions, has racked up 58 million views on YouTube. Martin, who was undefeated and ranked in the top 10 in the lightweight division going into the bout, was another respectable opponent Davis has taken out in recent years.
See Lomachenko, man. Do you feel, though, that he's a step off, or do you still feel, though, that he still got everything he needs?
I always thought he was overrated.
Davis's 11th round technical knockout of Mario Barrios in June 2021 and his unanimous decision over Isaac Pitbull Cruz in December 2021. Barrios, a junior welterweight at the time, has since moved up to 147 pounds, defeated Eudenis Ugas, and secured a world title. Cruz moved up to 140 and dethroned Rolando Romero, another past Davis victim, for the WBA belt, though Cruz recently lost that title to Jose Valenzuela. Despite these successes, boxing fans have been eager to see Davis challenge the top names at 135, but various reasons have prevented those fights from happening over the years. Negotiations between Davis and Lomachenko came to an end when Lomachenko's team said he didn't want to fight for the remainder of the year.
Why? He was a great amateur fighter. But, he lost his second pro fight.
Preferring to spend time with his family. Though disappointing, this news wasn't entirely surprising given Lomachenko's lengthy career, both as an amateur and a professional. He was a great amateur fighter, but the motivation to continue may have waned.
He lost Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, he lost to Salido. That was his first fight.
But he lost his second pro fight. Lomachenko fought just once in 2022, winning a decision over Jermaine Ortiz. He fought just once in 2023, challenging Devin Haney for the undisputed lightweight championship and dropping a close decision that some feel could have gone Lomachenko's way. He will end 2024 having fought just once, stopping George Kambosos Jr. in May for the vacant International Boxing Federation belt. In a post-fight interview, Lomachenko dedicated the victory to his father, who played such a significant role in his career. Lomachenko said, "After this fight with Haney, I proved myself in this sport, and I don't need to continue."
Thanks, Tim.
they reached out, but we told them to come back with an offer. And as far as that, we ain't hit nothing since then. Me and him fighting each other, we'll see.
But my father, every day, he sends me news about me, and every time he sends my last fight's highlights, I feel he wants me to continue. He wants the title again, and he told me, "Hey, we need to do this one more time. We need to fight again for the title." It was a hard decision for me because I'm tired, but I love my family. I love my father. I respect my father. My father built me in boxing and in life. And this is the title. This is a win for my father.
Still on the kings of that division, the kings of this era, the kings of everything. So, I've been saying it for years.
Stevenson, a free agent after departing from Top Rank, ultimately signed with Matchroom and announced a fight with former junior lightweight titleholder Joe Cordina on the October 12th undercard of our tour Better Biv versus Dimitri Bivol. Stevenson then got hurt in training and had to pull out of the Cordina fight. He's expected back in 2025.
This comes with Pitbull, so I'm just waiting on that if they're gonna take it or not, and then I can go from there. I believe Tank fighting at 35, so I don't know.
Binnick doesn't carry the name value or appear to have the attributes that Lomachenko and Stevenson do. William Zepeda, who is ranked as the #1 contender for all 4 major world titles, initially turned down a fight with Stevenson reportedly because his wife was due to give birth. But Zepeda has since signed for a November fight with former junior lightweight title holder Kevin Farmer. Some thought Cruz would get a rematch with Gervonta. Cruz was competitive with Gervonta in their first bout and is one of only 2 men to last the distance with Tank. That belief disappeared the moment Cruz lost to Valenzuela in August.
I don't think I can make 35 right now, so I believe, I'll be staying at 40, so that'll make it, a little bit difficult to make, but, I'm open to it if they're down. And
would Valenzuela not only seize Cruz's title, but also inherit the opportunity? I have a rematch clause with Cruz right now, so waiting on that, but if not, there's Tio Lopez and the other 140 pounds champions, Valenzuela recently told Face of Boxing TV. As for rumors that he turned down a fight with Gervonta, it wasn't really an offer. It was more like I was just asked about Tank. I said, not at 35, and we never really dove into it. There were no details or nothing. I don't know if you'd consider that an offer, but that's what happened. Valenzuela had fought in the 135 pounds weight class for most of his career and was a lightweight as recently as last December, but he cannot be faulted if he feels junior welterweight is better for his body, nor can Gervonta be faulted if he wishes to remain a lightweight right now, even though he went up to 140 before for the Barrios bout. That leaves Gervonta with few options, and none particularly alluring among lightweights.
Make sure y'all come out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stay after the fight and take pictures for a couple people, as long as I can.
Once you get past the 3 other title holders in Zepeda, the rest of the rankings from the Ring magazine and the Transnational Boxing Ratings Board are mostly made up of prospects who are still developing. Raymond Maratala, Keyshawn Davis, Andy Cruz, Zor Abdullaev are guys who recently fell short. Edwin de Los Santos is unranked by those observers, but he's rated by the WBA and would therefore be allowed to challenge for the belt. De Los Santos scored a knockout over Valenzuela in 2022, though he'd also knocked down Valenzuela 1 round earlier. His last fight, however, was a decision loss to Stevenson in November 2023. With not much available at 135, that leaves room for Roach to enter from just down the road at 130 and from down the road in Washington, D.C. That's one more reason to make this fight. If Gervonta can't get a match made with any of the top lightweights, and if he doesn't want to remain inactive for the remainder of 2024, then a bout with Roach is an acceptable substitute. Or it's at least as good as we're going to be able to get, even if it isn't going to satisfy us the same way that the steak dinner would have. Roach has won 6 straight since his lone loss, a decision drop to Jamal Herring in 2019. His biggest victory came last November when Roach topped Hector Garcia by split decision to win a world title.
That was just a decision I made, just being mad and things like that, but pardon me to everybody that came out.
Garcia is another former foe of Tank's. Gervonta stopped him in 9 rounds in January 2023 up at lightweight, about 10 months before Garcia lost to Roach. Roach's improvement has been enjoyable to watch. It's still hard to picture him giving Tank too much trouble, but the fight can be made and hosted in Gervonta's native Baltimore, or more likely in DC itself. While that's Roach's hometown, it's also where Gervonta headlined for the Hector Garcia fight. The fight will do well at the box office. Pay-per-view is another question. Gervonta is one of the biggest stars in the United States. Some may purchase the broadcast just to see him perform. The opponent factors less, if not at all, into their consideration. For others, the prospect of Gervonta versus Roach may be intriguing enough to tune in, but not enough to shell out. Boxing fans can and should speak with their wallets. Just because a fight is on doesn't mean you have to buy it. If you really don't want the fish, you can choose not to eat in the restaurant until the steak is available again. As for Gervonta, just because a big fight isn't available doesn't mean he should wait on the sidelines. I'd rather Tank get back on the battlefield, even if it's just to blow through and roll over an outgunned foe. That's better than sitting around and collecting rust. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace out